In 2025, Australia's immigration system is undergoing its biggest overhaul in decades, and the consequences could be dire. Reports suggest that over 1.6 million temporary visa holders could be impacted by these changes, with many at risk of deportation or forced departure. For years, Australia has been a top destination for skilled workers, international students, and migrants seeking a better future. However, the government is introducing stricter visa rules, higher financial thresholds, and fewer residency pathways, making it significantly harder to stay. Whether you're a student, a skilled worker, or even a long-term resident, these changes could mean losing your right to live and work in Australia. According to the Department of Home Affairs, visa refusals have increased by 12% in the past year, and experts warn that rejection rates could rise further in 2025. Stay with us as we break down the 10 biggest reasons why these policies could force people to leave, and what you can do to stay ahead of them. Some of these changes are shocking, and you need to be prepared. 1. Stricter visa requirements. The first and biggest change: getting a visa or keeping the one you have just got harder. The government is raising the bar for work experience, educational qualifications, and even salary thresholds. If your job isn't on Australia's priority list, your visa renewal might be denied. Australia's temporary skill shortage, TSS visa, for example, now requires higher levels of work experience, with many occupations demanding at least 3 to 5 years of relevant experience. Additionally, sectors like hospitality and retail, where many temporary workers are employed, are seeing fewer sponsored visa opportunities. Not only that, but minor mistakes, like missing a deadline or failing to update your employment status, could now lead to automatic rejection. The margin for error is disappearing fast. The visa processing times have also increased, meaning applicants must plan well in advance to avoid disruptions. 2. Reduced permanent residency pathways. For many, the dream of staying in Australia permanently is fading. The government is cutting off easy transition routes from temporary visas to permanent residency. This means international students and skilled workers who once had clear pathways to stay might now be left in limbo with no way forward. Previously, many visa holders could transition to permanent residency, PR, through the General Skilled Migration, GSM program after gaining local work experience. However, the 2025 changes are making this process more selective. The points-based system is now prioritizing STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics graduates and high-income earners, while other fields face a much tougher road to PR. In addition, the number of employer-sponsored PR visas is being reduced, leaving many skilled workers without a clear pathway. Even those in high-demand industries might face increased scrutiny, with stricter English language requirements and proof of higher earnings now mandatory. 3. Higher salary requirements. Here's a tough one. If you don't meet the new minimum salary requirements, you could be out. The government is raising income thresholds for visa applicants. For instance, the Temporary Skilled Migration Income Threshold, TSMIT, which was previously $53,900 AUD, has now increased to $70,000 AUD or more, depending on the visa category. This change aims to ensure that only high-income earners qualify, potentially disqualifying thousands of migrants in hospitality, retail, and trade sectors where wages are typically lower. The government argues that these changes will protect local workers, but for many migrants, it means they will no longer qualify to stay. Employers may also struggle to hire international workers, leading to labor shortages in key industries. 4. Shorter visa renewal periods. Before, some visas lasted up to 4 years before requiring renewal. Now, Many will require renewals every 2 years or less. That means more paperwork, more fees, and constant uncertainty. For example, temporary skills shortage, TSS visa holders previously had the option of a 4-year visa. Under the new rules, many will now need to reapply every 2 years, increasing financial burdens due to frequent application fees and renewal costs. Additionally, the criteria for renewal have become stricter, with employers required to prove an ongoing need for the sponsored worker at each renewal period. One missed deadline or a change in job status could leave you scrambling to stay. Many applicants now face the risk of rejection due to delays in documentation or failure to meet updated eligibility criteria. 5. Tougher family sponsorship rules. Want to bring your family to Australia? It's about to get a lot harder. Under the new rules, the government has significantly tightened the financial requirements for sponsoring family members. Now, sponsors must demonstrate a stable and high level of income, often needing to provide detailed evidence, such as tax returns, bank statements, and employment contracts, to prove they can support their relatives without relying on public funds. These stringent criteria mean that even long-time residents might fall short. Furthermore, the quota for family visas is being reduced, leading to longer waiting periods and increased competition for the limited spots available. As a result, the dream of reuniting with your loved ones could be delayed or even denied. 6. Regional work requirements. New rules are forcing some migrants to live and work in designated regional areas for extended periods before they can apply for permanent residency. This policy aims to address skill shortages in regional communities but comes with significant challenges. Migrants may face fewer job opportunities, limited access to essential services like healthcare and education, and the difficulties of adapting to smaller, less diverse communities. Additionally, the required duration, often ranging from 3 to 5 years, adds a layer of uncertainty, especially for families with established lives in urban centers. Failure to comply with these regional work requirements could jeopardize one's pathway to permanent residency, leaving migrants in a precarious situation. 7. Increased deportation for minor violations. 2025, even minor infractions such as working extra hours beyond your visa limit, missing a paperwork deadline, or making a small administrative error could trigger immediate deportation. Australia's immigration enforcement is taking a zero-tolerance approach, drastically reducing the margin for error. Unlike previous policies, where first-time offenders might receive a warning or an opportunity to correct their mistake, under the new rules, a single violation could result in swift removal from the country. Immigration officials now have expanded authority to conduct random compliance checks, and the processing of minor breaches has been significantly accelerated. Experts warn that this stringent policy could see thousands of migrants facing deportation over technicalities, creating a climate of uncertainty and fear among visa holders. 8. Rising cost of living. Australia's cost of living is skyrocketing, adding another layer of financial pressure on immigrants. In major cities like Sydney and Melbourne, rental prices have surged by up to 20% in recent years, making affordable housing a rare commodity. Everyday expenses such as groceries, transportation, and utilities have also been on the rise. For many migrants, particularly those on temporary visas or in lower-paying sectors, wages are not keeping pace with these escalating costs. A recent analysis suggests that the overall cost of living in Australia has increased by roughly 30% over the past 5 years. This financial strain forces many to reconsider their future in Australia, as the dream of a stable and affordable life becomes increasingly difficult to achieve. For some, the mounting expenses may ultimately mean the difficult decision to leave in search of more manageable living costs elsewhere. 9. Tighter English language requirements. Under the new policies, demonstrating strong English proficiency is now non-negotiable. Visa applicants will be required to meet higher minimum scores on standardized tests like IELTS, TOEFL, or PTE. For instance, while a band score of 6.0 might have sufficed in the past, many visa categories now demand a minimum of 7.0 in all components: speaking, listening, reading, and writing. This change is designed to ensure that all newcomers can integrate smoothly into Australian society and thrive in the workplace. However, it poses a significant barrier for non-native speakers, particularly those from regions where access to high-quality English education is limited. In addition to test scores, applicants may now need to provide further evidence of their language abilities through interviews or additional language assessments. This tightening of requirements could lead to a higher rate of visa rejections, leaving many skilled workers and students ineligible despite their other qualifications. 10. Changing political landscape. Australia's immigration policies are not set in stone. They are deeply influenced by the prevailing political climate. With the recent 2025 changes, shifts in public sentiment and government priorities could lead to even more restrictive measures. Recent political polls have shown growing support for tougher immigration controls driven by concerns over job security, housing affordability, and national security. If a more conservative or anti-immigration government comes into power, the already stringent policies might become even harsher overnight. This means that even those who currently qualify for a visa could face uncertainty if the political winds shift. So what does all this mean? For millions of people, it means uncertainty, stress, and the possibility of leaving Australia, even if they've built their whole lives here. These changes are coming fast, and they're real. If you or someone you know is affected, now is the time to prepare. Stay informed, check your visa options, and plan ahead. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep you updated on all the latest immigration news so you never get caught off guard. Drop a comment below. How do these changes affect you? Let's talk about it. See you in the next video.